Hey YouTube, welcome to the first episode of Final Thoughts, which is a new series that I decided to do to highlight the games that I completed throughout each month. I guess you can look at these videos as little mini reviews for the games that I completed throughout the month. So let's get started with my final thoughts for the games that I completed for March 2014. At the beginning of March, Sega actually released Hatsune Miku Project Diva F, a digital version for the PlayStation Vita. Now, Project Diva F is already available on the PlayStation 3, and I have the PlayStation 3 version. Really enjoyed what I played of it, so that's why I decided to double dip and get it on the Vita as well. The funny thing is that even though I do have the retail console version of Project Diva F, I actually preferred playing it on the PlayStation Vita. It just felt like it was the right platform for it. Now, for those of you that don't know, Hatsune Miku is basically a pop sensation over in Japan. And I'm not quite sure if Hatsune Miku is a real person. I think she's only digital. I could be wrong about that, but she has some really catchy tunes, and Project Diva F is basically a rhythm game. Old school rhythm game, all about rhythm, timed button presses, and it worked awesome. It was so much fun to play through. Since the PlayStation Vita does have a touchscreen, some of that is implemented into the gameplay. So you will be like swiping your finger across the Vita screen whenever there's like a special part throughout the song. It's basically like star power, so that's for extra bonus. And I wasn't quite sure how that was gonna work, but it turned out that it worked perfectly fine. I actually enjoyed the star power segments. Now, besides the actual meat of the game, which is the rhythm game, there is sort of like a life/relationship building skill. Not only is there Hatsune Miku in this game, but there's like 5 other characters that you can play as. And you can go into each specific character's room. You can customize that character. You can go and customize their room and let them interact with some of the items that you put in there. You can play little mini games with them like rock, paper, scissors, things of that nature. It's nothing special, but I thought it was pretty cute. I completed the game on normal, I went back and completed it on hard, and now I'm working my way through extreme, and it totally is extreme because I can't beat it. I have 10 more songs to go, and those last 10 songs are brutal. Like the buttons are moving so fast I can't keep up with it. It's so fast paced, but I'm determined to definitely work my way through that. Love the song selections. The songs are so much fun. I find myself humming them sometimes. It's crazy, but I'm really looking forward to the sequel that's coming out. Sega just announced that they're bringing out Hatsune Miku Project Diva F 2nd. So it's the sequel. It's coming out to North America in the fall. 2 thumbs up, really excited about that one. I also completed Yoshi's New Island for the Nintendo 3DS. Now, I will say Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo is one of the best platformers that I've ever played. It's the reason why I love that little green dinosaur. I mean, Yoshi's so cute. I remember playing the original Yoshi's Island back in the day and being so like impressed by it. Like I couldn't get enough of that game. Technically, the controls were just so tight. It looked magical almost, so whimsical. And it just made you feel good when you played it. And then Yoshi's Island came out for the DS. And I really couldn't get into that one. I found it to be boring, and I didn't like the fact that you have Baby Mario, Baby Peach, and Baby Donkey Kong, I think it was. And you had to switch between those characters throughout each level in order to get through the level, and I didn't really like that. But Yoshi's New Island is solid. It's a solid game. I know this game got bad reviews, but I don't really understand why. It's nothing special. It's not the best Nintendo 3DS game out there. But for what it's worth, it's a good platformer. One thing that I don't like about the game is definitely the music. The music was so disappointing. There aren't a lot of tunes, and the tunes that are in there are quite just monotonous. I mean, you're going to be hearing the kazoo over and over again. The songs are pretty annoying. The level design is a little bland in the beginning, but as you progress throughout the game, it gets a lot better, especially the last 2 levels, the last 2 worlds. The level design is really nicely done. Now in Yoshi's New Island, Yoshi has the ability to transform into vehicles. So each level has like this special segment where you can go in and Yoshi transforms into like a submarine, a helicopter, a toy car, I think. And the way you control Yoshi is by motion control with your 3DS. So you're using the gyroscope feature. And majority of the time it worked really well, but some of the vehicles just were so frustrating to maneuver. One of them being the submarine. Had so much trouble with moving the submarine throughout that level. And also the helicopter kind of gave me a bit of a problem as well. But other than that, I thought that the vehicle transformations throughout the levels were a nice change of pace, and I appreciated it. So Yoshi's New Island is pretty basic. I mean, it's not as superb as the original game on the Super Nintendo, but it's not a horrible game either. I will say this game won't take you long to complete. It's a pretty short game, and it's pretty straightforward. The difficulty isn't hard at all. But if you're trying to go in and collect everything that there is to collect, you're gonna have some challenge. Some of the flowers are hidden really well, so it's kind of hard to get through things. But if you're into throwing eggs at enemies, you might want to check it out. I also completed Infamous Second Son. Now, I'm going to be straight up with you guys off the bat. I'm going to say the presentation in Second Son is just phenomenal. I know it's not all about graphics and voice acting, but the presentation was definitely jaw-dropping. I mean, the PlayStation 4 is only a couple of months old. You know, we're only a couple of months into the new gen or current gen. And just imagine, after playing through this game, just imagine what graphics are going to be like 2 or 3 years down the line. It's going to be bananas. I mean, the presentation is just ridiculous. There were times where it was, you know, night and there might have been a puddle or some water on the ground, and the lights from the businesses would the neon lights would totally reflect off of the puddles. I also like the attention to detail that was put into this game, because local businesses apparently are in this game, and that's pretty awesome. It almost makes you feel like you're actually in Seattle. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, it's just like every other Infamous game, except I think it's a little bit more fine-tuned. The powers you get, you have 4. By the end of the game, you'll have 4 powers. And I didn't like all of the powers, but what kind of made me, I don't know, a little upset was the fact that the game is so short, okay, which I don't mind. I don't mind short games because I'm able to beat them, but the game is so short that I felt that I didn't get to appreciate each one of the powers, because I felt like right when I got a new power, I was moving on to the next power, which was kind of crazy. But there's a lot of side content in the game. You know, you can go and tag up different locations, and I thought spray painting was actually pretty neat. The way that you do that, you hold your DualShock 4, you tilt it so it's upright, and then you shake the DualShock 4, and the speakers on the controller, you can hear what would sound like when you're shaking a spray paint can or an aerosol can. I thought that was pretty awesome. And then you just tag. There's also, like, you have to find the secret agent and kill him. You had to take down these different, like, I think they're called DDP, I might be wrong, I can't remember, but these different areas on the map that basically have enemies. You have to take those down. And of course you have your good karma and your bad karma, so you can go and help citizens throughout the world in order to gain good or bad karma. And I did all of that stuff. I collected all the blast shards, and I completed the game with the good karma, and I need to go back and complete it with evil on expert, which shouldn't be too hard because playing on normal was basically a breeze. The last game that I completed in March was Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Now, I touched on this in my monthly pickup video, but I just want to reiterate that I am just so sick of people complaining about things that really don't deserve complaints. You know, there's been a lot of complaining going on about the price of this game for the value. You know, a short game, 2 hours, going for 30 bucks. A lot of people don't like that, and that's fine. I totally get it, but don't complain about it. You know, if you don't like it, just don't buy it. Wait for the price to drop, because we all know that happens really quick nowadays. But yeah, just don't buy the game. Don't call it a glorified demo, tech demo, because it truly isn't. It's more or less a prologue. And if you're interested in playing Metal Gear Solid 5, this is a must play because it kind of sets up the scene for that game. So it took me 110 minutes to complete the main mission. This game has one mission that's broken up into like 2 parts. You have to go rescue 2 different people. And it took me 110 minutes to do that. I started off, my main tactic was to be stealthy. And that didn't work too well because by the time I got to the first person I was supposed to rescue, I kind of wanted to get through and see the end scene, okay? So I went ahead and I changed up my tactics, and to rescue the second person, I just was running and gunning, which I never really have done in a Metal Gear Solid game before. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't horrible by any means. It was actually pretty functional with the shooting and everything like that. So I actually prefer the stealthy way though. I really do, because I feel like that's the way Metal Gear Solid games are supposed to be played. The 110 minutes that I spent with the game was intense. I mean, it was crazy. The amount of things that were going on. I was actually, you know, when I was being stealthy, I was going up to enemies, and before I would knock them out, I would try to interrogate them a little bit. So they'd tell me where different locations were for weapons and things of that nature. So that was pretty cool, and all of that would be updated on the map. Now, I will say the map was kind of confusing for me to figure out, which is why once I got to the part where I had to capture the second person, I decided to change those tactics up because the map was a little hard for me to figure out where I was supposed to go. This is another game with amazing presentation. I mean, you're in one location the whole entire time, and that one location is just so nicely detailed. There's so much going on. You never know what you're gonna get. You really do have to take your time and scope what's around the corner, what's in front of you, because there's just enemies everywhere. But it's nicely detailed, you know, the graphics are sick. And then the voice acting is awesome as well. Of course, you don't get Snake speaking as much in this game. Hopefully he speaks a little bit more in Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, but the voice acting, I mean, it's what you would expect from any Kojima game, you know, the quality is just there. So since I completed the game, I did unlock hard mode, which I'm not going to touch yet because I started back up on normal, and I'm trying to do the whole stealth mode. So I don't want to kill anyone, just want to knock people out, try to be as stealthy as I can. And for me, that's quite a challenge, but that's what I really dig about the Metal Gear Solid series. So those are the games that I completed in March of 2014. I actually enjoyed doing this video. Let me know what you guys think. I enjoyed making this video, and I look forward to doing much more because, you know, it feels good to actually sit down and talk about the games that I've completed. I'm trying to be a little bit more persistent with beating my games, but it feels good, you know, talking about my thoughts on these games as opposed to just showing you and being like, oh, I picked this up. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what games you guys have completed in March. And I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and I'll check you next time.